Welcome back, guys. This is MKG, and today we're gonna be discussing what is wrong with Generation Z, specifically in America, because I know it's just not me that's wondering what's going on. I know other people feel some type of way about this today's day and age, whether it's working,
Advance and take position.
um, feeling like you're being overworked
Remember your
for
training. Take control.
basically being overworked for basically less money because we're basically having to pay so much money in rent because inflation's going up. And how could your doll if you're getting paid a certain amount per hour, how in the hell do you think that you're gonna be able to, you know, afford a house that keeps going up in value every every so often? And then not on top of that, a lot of these jobs, they want to cut your hours. They don't really respect your your working ability. And then, then it leads you to think like, all right, then should I go to college? But a lot of people, I've been hearing a lot of people that are going to college, they're ending up having to pay the debt that they're in, and they can't even get a job in in whatever they went to school for, which is crazy in my opinion. I would be losing my mind. Meaning, like, I went to school for all these years just to say that, that you could barely get a job that's, like, barely paying minimum wage. It just doesn't seem right. And then when you do get these jobs, you're stuck in them because you have to pay a debt. You know you have to pay your rent, and that's not including insurance, the utilities, food, and then that's not even saying if you have kids. If you had kids, or if you do have kids, I just highly suggest you really go stock up on food and prepare for the unexpected, because in today's day and age we have a lot going on. And from the looks of it, from inflation, look, I went to the grocery store, not even the grocery store, the liquor store. I had to pay like what, $3.30 for a bag of chips, and then the sodas are like the same price, like $3-4. There's nothing. You ain't gonna find nothing for $1 unless you go to the Dollar Tree. And a lot of the stuff is still not even $1. It's like $3. If you want to get the stuff that's $1, you're looking at like the stuff that has all the chemicals, the chemical laced food, um, all that bullshit, the energy drinks that are not good for you. Why are energy drinks $1.25? I mean, maybe because it's probably not good for you. Why is it so expensive for healthy food? It's good for you. It grows from the tree off fruit grows off the trees. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be having to overpay for basic things that, a human needs to survive. Then the cost of living. A lot of people, they're over here having to live with 4 or 5 people just to make that amount of money. And that's even if you know
Team deathmatch. Time to show
that
what you're made of, soldier.
if you even know that a many amount of people that are willing to, you know, that are willing to, because a lot of people,
Line 'em
they
up.
when they start families, you know, they're all on their own, or not all on their own. I would say they're more, you know, when you have a family, you're trying to
We
provide.
have
So
the
when you're
momentum.
providing, a lot of your time of the day is going to your work, and that's another thing that I want to bring up. A lot of people are realizing that why go work 12, 14-hour shifts when the longer you work, it seems like
Can't keep this up.
the longer you work, it seems like you're getting paid less because you're getting taxed way more. I mean, I was working at the country club, and I remember working less, getting paid more. But then when I really needed the money and wanting to put the
We're holding
overtime, my checks were not coming out
We have fire superiority.
big. I think I was always thinking like, are they trying to jip me? And that's another story. That whole incident, which it's corruption at its finest, but I'm not really here to speak on that in this video. All I'm gonna say is, you know, I mean, any type of job that I've worked at, I've always did
We need
what's needed
reinforcements.
to be done. A lot of the times, though, is that these jobs or corporations, these people with these, they want to lower, they don't want to pay you what you're worth.
We have the
Like,
momentum.
I was working at Jersey Mike's, and for a franchise, cause you know, I knew the guy from, you know, past, or he was a friend of a friend, so I, you know, had, and they weren't paying bad, and they were paying pretty good, so I had, you know, went to go work, and they were giving me really good hours, but it was owned by a certain franchise, which I get. Every franchise, they're run differently, you know. You can't really expect every franchise to run the same, and I get it because, you know, the franchise, they ended up selling because they probably weren't profiting as much, using a lot of product. But we ended up getting bought out by a corporation, and they had like 15 Jersey Mike's, or I think more, in the around the area. And what they ended up trying to do was cut my hours and lower my pay,
I'm reloading.
which we weren't even really. I think right at that time we were getting paid 16 an hour, and I was getting like 5-hour shifts, and they wanted us to work 4-hour shifts and start at the bottom, like $15 an hour. And in my head, because I was already working there for a whole year, so I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why are these people trying to like lower my pay? And you know, like, and they knew my work, the way I worked. It
Enemy recon aircraft observed.
I wasn't a liability as a worker. I actually was a really good, consistent worker that would show up, and you know,
Enemy
I
recon
wasn't
aircraft
slacking
observed.
off. But then again, I'm not gonna be underpaid for something that I know that if I'm doing the job correctly, why am I gonna get underpaid when, you know what I'm saying? Because
Enemy bomb incoming.
I'm a
Get to
fast
cover.
learner. I'm not no bullshitter. And I took it as a disrespect. I talked it out with them. They didn't want to hire my pay. But when I had left, I knew because they had the new franchise. One of the guy that was training the other new members, he was like, "Hey, you know, we need." Basically, they needed some, because those jobs, I mean, they're not really that hard, but a lo- there's a lot of people that are not so
Incoming enemy
bright,
artillery.
like the
Get to cover.
Generation Z. And you know, I know what I'm worth. I'm not gonna, you know, go and get paid a $400 paycheck in the matter of 2 weeks. and when that was the thing too, I was getting paid every week,
No ammo.
which
Cover
I
me.
mean I'm Gen Z, so you know you're hearing
They're
from
on
a
the
Gen
move.
Zer. I was getting paid every week. It went from every week to every 2 weeks, and every 2 weeks you're getting taxed more. They're taxing you more. At least every week you're making a little more money, but it just it was ridiculous. And then yeah, like that was, I mean, that was my experience. I mean, and even the food industry, a lot of the people that are working in the food industry, they're just tired of being disrespected by these people that are feel these low, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but if you're going to buy some food at Chick-fil-A, McDonald's or Burger King, you're low income. You ain't no, and you should have a little bit of sympathy for
Need
these
ammo.
people that are, man, busting their ass for fucking, and they're probably not even saving money. And see, that's the thing. People expect men to be treated like a dog, you know, and be told what to do, and for what, to get thrown a fucking piece of paper that
Enemy recon aircraft
ultimately
observed.
gets eaten up by the cost of living. So we're basically paying to live. And I wasn't the type of person to be like, you know what, fuck this fool. And you know, I always kept my calm in the jobs. Um, but it takes a toll on you, you know, when you feel like you're doing something good for the community. You feel like
Let's go.
someone it
Recon
recognizes your
airborne.
hard work. But in reality, people just find any goddamn reason in the book to make you look like your work is not worth anything. You're a lazy worker and they're, you
Enemy
know,
recon aircraft
and
observed.
that's another thing too. There's a lot of people that are kissing ass to these shitty fucking general managers to get the next person fired. I've dealt with this before, where people throw you under the bus, try to throw snitch on you, and it's a lot of just drama. A lot of these people in these jobs, they're just like
Target in
little
space. Pull back to
kids.
the MLR.
They're like grown adults, but they act like kids because they just their stuff revolves around the drama in these jobs. And oh, look at, I just got fucked up on the kill cam. But anyways, a lot like these people, they're not really seeing the perspective of me, and I don't have to. I don't need nobody um to tell me, oh, what you feel is right, because I already know these people are gonna be like, no, forget how you feel and just keep working and don't do it, and just don't do what you feel, do what you're told. That's basically what's being preached. They're preaching it in the schools for the kids, so they have to, you know, abide by this type of, it's a program. You're programming the kids, or you program the youth, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, just everything that I've talked about. Because then you got the technology. We're in the new age of technology where people are just doom scrolling. They're on their phone and they go on Instagram and they cannot stop doom scrolling. That little dopamine effect, it's like um going to go gamble or something, or you know, it's the same exact thing when someone sits there on the phone for hours. That amount of time could be used to be, you know, to do something more valuable, you know. and a lot of this generation, there is some good people in Generation Z, but a lot of them, they're so they're obsessed with themselves. For what? I have no clue. I'm gonna be real, because it ain't gonna matter in the next 10, 20 years. People like to flex and you know,
Check your weapons. Hunt
show
the
what.
enemy.
A lot of people like to just show off and just show what. A lot of people show off what they don't even have. And it's like, before I would get, like, you worked so hard and
Stay wary.
you
Pick your
achieved this
shots.
amount of money, so you're showing off your hard work. But now it's like people are taking loans out to flex. Like, did you hear that? It does not make sense. It's a facade. It's for people that can't see the bigger picture, and they're impressed by this piece of paper. Because money comes and goes. People that really work for their money, they know it comes and goes. But what really does matter? Your freedom, your health.
Enemy fighter
People
pilot. Fall back.
that a lot of Gen Z takes for granted, because they don't watch what they eat. A lot of them, they're
Enemy
just
recon aircraft in the air.
a lot of Gen Z. I could tell they're not really taking care of themselves, because there is a lot of mental unstability going on. I mean, you could just see from these liberal people, like, where the spiky pink hair, spiky blue hair, and then they got a bunch of like, I
Enemy
mean,
recon aircraft in the air.
not trying to spread no hatred, but these are the type of people you see at these at these protests, like, screaming their lungs out, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, what's the point? What are you even doing with yourself? Like, that does not, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get nothing out of that, so what's the point of doing it? And these people, they're trying to push an agenda for God knows what.
Mission on the way.
A lot of them, they're just not happy with themselves. They're not happy with themselves, and they're taking it out on themselves. They don't realize who's the real enemy. The real enemy is probably profiting off of these people, which is kind of sad to say, but who's to say? I mean, you can't argue and say it ain't happening, because in this day and age, people don't really. I mean, you're gonna run, if you're an average American and you're what is it, an extrovert. I'm pretty sure those motherfuckers run into problems like 5-10 times a day. And I don't really run into problems. I could give a shit, because I'll make somebody look stupid. But either way, a lot of these people that are outside, I'm pretty sure they run into problems, because, a lot of people, they're hostile. They want to force their way of life on you, and if you don't agree to it, then you're a racist, you're a homophobe, or you're a fucking, I don't know whatever fucking name or gender they're gonna, whatever the fuck, they're just gonna make up whatever and just throw it in your face at this point, because it's all manipulation. And especially in the media, when your name gets thrown out in the media, then you're talking about, like, it's like Donald Trump, for an example. They're trying to shut on his name, and he's not even a Gen Zer. But I would say Gen Z is just a state of mind. It's just a new generation. But a lot of these people from Gen Z, they've who raised Gen Z? It was the generation before that. And what is it that generation seeing? They're seeing the cause and effect of, damn, like, so I gotta work the rest of my life and just pay off rent while you go like, and then you got Instagram where you're scrolling and you see people on yachts living their best life, flexing millions of dollars. It's all a facade, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be real. It's probably one of the most unhealthy things for the new generation, the little kids coming up, because then they're in their head, they're thinking, well, if I don't have this, then I'm not worth this. And yeah, it should push you to strive, but not not everyone, I don't know, not everybody sees it like that. Some people see it that not everyone gets dealt the same hand. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they'll say there's no excuses, but then the next person will be that ignorance is a bliss, that that person could be naive. So it really goes both ways, and if you're able to see both perspectives of the of the whole point, the whole picture, then I feel like that's what ultimately will fix any type of problem, because there's a lot of problems in America that there are solutions. It's just they're not focused on those solutions. They're focused on a vote. But that's it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I don't even know if this will get that many views. But like, subscribe, and share. I'm out.